don't you agree?
Very much for talking to Balls.ie today. We're here in Dún Laoghaire for the Red Bull Wings for Life event. It's not long to go now. Are you excited about the event that's coming up?
Yeah, very excited. It should be a very good event. You know, there's going to be a lot of people turning out to run in aid of a great cause, and that's spinal cord injury, which it's related to a lot of physical contact sports like rugby and even horse racing like Ruby Walsh and the likes, you know, who'd be suffering these kind of injuries, you know. So it's probably one of these causes that would probably be a little bit closer to the rugby players like Felix Jones and these guys who've had similar injuries. So it's a great cause to be involved in, and I'm very grateful.
Now, congratulations on the Six Nations Championship win. We're all delighted, obviously, with Balls.ie. But watching that England versus France game as a fan, that was an emotional roller coaster. Can you give us an idea of what it was like as a player? I'm sure it was a million times worse.
Yeah, well, it was. I suppose it was a bit of a roller coaster. All right, we were watching it upstairs in the reception at Murrayfield with the Scottish players, and there was a lot of cheering happened just as we thought the final whistle was about to be blown. But then Hugh Shea decided to tap and go, and it could have been egg in our faces after that. But thankfully, it panned out the right way we wanted it to, and yeah, it was a great tournament to finish.
Under Joe Schmidt, we seem to be winning matches now. We seem to be grinding out results, which is maybe something we weren't given in the past. What is it like to work with Joe Schmidt, and what's he like every day on the training pitch?
Yeah, he's intense. He's a coach who knows what he wants. He's very detailed in the way he goes about his coaching. I think no matter how well you play or no matter how good the team plays for a certain game, he'll always find areas of the game to critique, which is great. So he keeps us level-headed and on check no matter who we beat. And I think that shows after the November series, after we beat Australia and South Africa and Georgia, you know, three great teams. And we came into the Six Nations as if we'd won nothing and came out on top at the end. So he's a great coach.
One thing we really like to know is who's the toughest winger in your career? Who's the toughest winger you've ever had to play against?
Sidovini Sivivatu for Claremont. When we played them in the semi-final a couple of years back, he was at the peak of his powers, I think, when he was playing in France, because he had the license to get into first receiver, to express himself, and I really admire the way he plays. And you know, he's a player and type of player I try and emulate, because he's a gifted attacker and a very smart player, and he's probably the toughest I've come up against.
Okay. Now, if you were given the power to sign one player, any player from Munster this summer, who would you try and sign?
Who would I try and sign? Probably try and sign Dan Carter, maybe, or
ambitious, nice.
Yeah, or I don't know. There's so many. Julian Savé is an excellent player. I'd like to bring him over. He could add a lot to the back line. So hopefully he comes now after this.
Now, when you're in the dressing room with the Irish lads, who's got control of the iPod? Because we've seen from a few of your lip sync videos online, you're fond of your music. So who's got control of the iPod in the dressing room?
Yeah, it varies. Usually straight after a game, like some people try and jump on the iPod, like Peter O'Mahony and Donnacha Ryan, and these guys try and get their music in, but people get fed up with listening to Christy Moore all the time, so they usually give me the nudge to go over and play some good tunes, which I'm more than happy to do.
Sure. And if you were a UFC fighter now, what would you have as your walkout music when you're making your way down for a title fight?
The exact same as Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Hypnotised by Biggie Smalls. That would definitely be my tune. Except the only difference, I'd probably be dancing coming out.
And now here's another question: music and film. Who would play Simon Zebo in the film about Simon Zebo's life?
I'd say either Will Smith or Jamie Foxx after his performance in Django. Yeah, probably.
Okay, completely hypothetical question here. You're about to rob a bank. You're about to stage a bank robbery. Who do you have from the Irish rugby setup as your getaway driver?
Keith Earls.
Straight away.
Definitely. He's born in Moyross. I'm sure he'd be able to well handle that.